I believe a very accurate diagnosis of what's happening with the climate is yin deficient heat. The heat has gone up, and the ability of the planet to sequester greenhouse gases, to hold greenhouse gases, has gone down. Not surprisingly, that same diagnosis is extremely common in our culture and is extremely common individually. In fact, in the treatment room with the patients that my wife and I treat, I would say yin deficient heat on an individual scale is one of the most common diagnoses we treat. So that's not a coincidence. That just didn't happen. There's reasons why that happens. There's reasons why our internal condition is being mirrored in what is happening with the climate. So on an individual scale, yin deficient heat means that we're overstimulated, the heat has gone up, and our coolant has gone down. So what that can feel like individually is basically being amped up, being overstimulated physically, mentally, and emotionally. And that overstimulation is not just an individual condition, it's really a cultural condition. We're encouraged to be overstimulated. We're encouraged to overwork. We're encouraged to be too busy. We're encouraged to overconsume. We're encouraged to want more than we need. All of that is an excess of yang and a deficiency of yin. And also in terms of physical symptoms, yin deficient heat is night sweats, hot flashes, the mind being overstimulated, the inability to rest, the inability to relax, the desire for more than we want. All of that is yin deficient heat. And not only do we experience that individually, we experience it culturally. We are encouraged to live a yin deficient heat life. We're encouraged to constantly be busy, to be constantly stimulated, to constantly be doing things, to be constantly engaged with electronics. We're encouraged to think that rest and relaxation can be laziness, or rest and relaxation is not being productive. We're also encouraged to want the newest gadget, the newest thing, rather than being content with what we have. We're encouraged to look to far-off exotic places for the things that we need for our food and our sustenance, rather than looking locally. So the same dynamic that's happening in the planet, the increase of heat, decrease of coolant, is happening within us, and it's happening within our culture, and that's not a coincidence. And the reason in particular it's not a coincidence is because the United States has 5% of the population but of the planet, but we create over 20% of the greenhouse gases. So we culturally, we as a society in the US are a major producer of greenhouse gases. For medium and large size countries, per person, per capita, by far we create the most greenhouse gases. And again, that's not a coincidence, because we're encouraged to live that way. We're encouraged to do over non-do. We're encouraged to want more things rather than be content. We're encouraged to be busy rather than relaxed. We're encouraged to think doing is better than non-doing. All of that speaks to the overemphasis on yang and the devaluing of yin. And that's the very same dynamic that's happening in the culture. And that's the very same dynamic that's happening in the planet.